Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Celtic Rumours TV, episode number 192, the Bawz and Bovril podcast, with myself, Mark. We've got a full house of us tonight. We've got Big Jerry with us. How you doing, Jerry?
Good, my man. How are you?
I'm good, bud. We've got Gregor with us tonight as well. How you doing, Gregor? Nice to get you back on again.
I'm thrilled to be back on, having served my suspension, Mark. Thank you for having me back.
For your stupid questions.
I know.
And last but not least, we've got Terence with us again tonight. Up there, I've put it, Terence off. Sorry, Terence. How you doing, Terence?
I'm doing good, bud. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Thanks for coming on again, Terence. It's always good to get you on. Looking forward to you and Greg being on here tonight together. Should get a good laugh at that tonight.
What about midnight?
This is a podcast for our forum. That's at www.celticrumours.co.uk. The link to that, the description, the Discord and everything's in the description box below. A few shout outs to some of the lads for the forum and that. Paul was going to come on tonight, but because we've got a bit of a full house, so he'll be on next Sunday. That's a definite, Jerry. We're holding him to that.
Aye.
Jerry McGinn, old Tim Alloy, JFP, the Bishop, Mikey, we John United Ireland, Big Jabba, Kev, Malika and Welshie for the forum. Who have we got in the chat? Bobby is always there. Henky in again. Nice to see you, Henky, bud. Brian. The wee bromance going on in that Discord with Twitter, Jerry. Bobby and Henky.
300 odd messages this morning.
Oh, we had a bit of a wild one last night, man, when the late one. Brian, nice to see you, Brian. Thanks for coming. Grot bags. Chris Curtis, nice to see you, mate. Kenneth Arthur, thanks very much for coming again. Kenneth. William Smith, nice to see you. I passed on your message to Paul, by the way, mate. I appreciate that. G-Doc, nice to see you, buddy. Plunge, nice to see you, mate, as well. There, Kaiser, a legend as well. Nice to see you in, Kaiser, mate. Well, we'll start off. Greg, were you at the game yesterday?
No, I didn't get to it, but I did get an opportunity to watch it, and I don't want to pee in anyone's bonfire because I thought, as everyone thinks, we are exceptional. But I think we just need to temper it a wee bit and understand who we were playing. St Johnstone. And I'm just wary. I think we'll perform very well in Dortmund. I'm actually, at this early stage, confident that we could get a right good result. But I think we just need to, I know I'm saying that we could get a good result. I'm telling myself to calm down. But I'm just conscious of the absolute dire straits that St Johnstone are in and the quality of opposition, because it was embarrassing at points. And just further to that, Mark, just before I finish, if yesterday wasn't an absolute huge statement that Celtic need to look beyond the Scottish League, I don't know what is, because we are way too big for it and we need to seek an exit, because that was embarrassing.
What about you, Terence? What did you think of yesterday's game?
To be honest, I thought Celtic were stunning. I know we can say what we want about the opposition, but Celtic through the years have struggled away from home on numerous occasions. I thought the brand of football, the speed of passing, the speed of movement, some of the goals, if some of those goals were scored by I'm going to say a Barcelona team or something like that, people will be waxing lyrical about it. Now, yes, you can say the opposition, but at the same time, some of the movement and some of the passing and some of the accuracy was it was sublime. And yeah, St. Johnstone looked poor, but that's more down to Celtic than anything. Celtic it didn't matter who they were playing yesterday in Scotland, they'd run them off the pitch the way they played. And the work rate, Mark, for me, off the ball, again, you had Maeda chasing back 60 yards when they were 5 or 6-0 up to win the ball, like Kyogo had done against Rangers a couple of weeks ago as well, when they're well ahead. The work rate in the team is unbelievable. And, I get it, the opposition, but at the end of the day, the opposition that's in Scotland is what Celtic are going to be playing. So if they produce those performances week in, week out, we'll be waxing lyrical about it. And yeah, fair enough, I understand the point about Dortmund, but they couldn't be in a better position going into a game after winning the Champions League game at home convincingly and not conceding yet in the league, playing excellent football, playing good, attractive football, and looking solid. Trusty looked very solid at the back again yesterday, I have to say. I know, again, it's St. Johnstone, as we keep coming back to. So, look, it's Dortmund. I know that, and it's a way which Celtic normally struggle in Europe. But it's as confident as you could be of Celtic putting in, I'm not going to say a result, but it's certainly a performance.
I thought yesterday, I'm kind of disagreeing with Greg. I know, Greg, what you're saying, but I'm disagreeing with you. I'm being honest. I thought Celtic were just fantastic yesterday. Some of the actual football that we played in that. I mean, if we can get in Dortmund's face with that same kind of intensity that we've even played against St. Johnstone that way, I don't see it as. I said it the last week in the podcast. I don't see us getting embarrassed in this Champions League at all.
Mark,
we'll go into that later on. We'll stick to yesterday's game now. We'll talk about the Dortmund game later. We'll stick to yesterday's game. What about
Mark,
you, Jerry?
I'm not saying we were exceptional yesterday. There's no doubt about that. It was all summed up. The performance was summed up in Baye's back heel for Ida. I mean, that was just sublime. The whole performance was. I'm just conscious that we temper it with a wee bit of realism and just how poor that St. Johnstone team right now would struggle in the Championship. They're that bad. So yes, Celtic were exceptional, but I think we just need to focus just a little bit on how poor the opposition were.
What about you, Jerry? What's your take on yesterday's game?
We can only beat what's in front of us. So I thought it was a fantastic performance. I've said it before. That's our best midfield. No many teams are going to outwork us, and I think that's the thing that's going to kill, especially domestically. That's going to kill the teams. We're well organised. We work. We don't give up. When we've got the ball, we're always looking for the play it quick. When we've not got the ball, we're always looking to win it back. The improvement in some of the players that all the players that were here last year, every single person's improved to a man. But it's Scales, Taylor, McGregor, Kyogo. This time last year we were all cracking up with Kyogo. I'll admit I expected him to miss that chance to go. He took it fantastic. The first one, it was brilliant. No, I thought it was a fantastic performance, and it's a pipe dream Celtic leaving Scottish football. It's not going to happen. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen in my lifetime. But the leagues are bread and butter. We're in a fantastic period just now with our performances and our play. So no, I think I can understand where Greg's coming from. We don't want to get carried away because we could get a bad result or a poor result this coming week, because Dortmund, for all their stuttering, they had an alright result yesterday, but they're still a decent team that got to the Champions League final with 99% of that squad. So we've got to have a wee bit of realism as well. But hey, I'm half expecting a decent result during the week, but we'll stick to yesterday. But no, I'm happy, mate. Over the moon.
Cal McGregor, another goal for Calmac as well.
Aye, no half. What about the start at the beginning? Do you think that was the first goal should have been ruled out?
Never.
No, never.
Either day.
The St. Johnstone players ran into Big Trusty.
Mm-hmm.
Aye, definitely. He's not a
I mean,
clue.
Trusty's looking where he's going. That St. Johnstone player, isn't he, looking where he's going?
Aye.
If that's in the middle of the field, that's a free kick. If that's in the middle of the field, it's a free kick to Celtic, because surely that's you know, like if you're taking a man out off the ball like the St. Johnstone guy did in the middle of the park, you'll get a free kick for that, for obstruction or whatever you want to call it. Yes, in the box, Trusty doesn't change his line. It's the St. Johnstone guy changes his line to block him.
Where was he going?
Well, he was only going to try and block Trusty, but the bottom line is he wasn't strong enough. Trusty just buried him out of the way. And he was on the ground, he looked like he'd have to been hit by a bus. And you know, I mean, that's the problem. If that's in the middle of the park, and Celtic have the ball, and some fella takes someone else out off the ball, there's going to be a free kick. And that Trusty did nothing wrong. I was talking to Mark on WhatsApp about it, Jerry. What's Trusty meant to do there? So if a man's basically going to run in front of you and block you on a corner, you just can't do anything about it. He didn't change his direction of line. He ran straight. There was a coming together, and the St. Johnstone guy came off second best.
Yep.
The fact it was a free out was just ludicrous.
It was some finish too.
Oh, it's a fabulous finish.
Unreal.
Do you know, it's one of the... I right now, I don't remember being at the start of a season and looking so positively at so many players. I can't remember actually being 5 games in, I think it's 5, and thinking that we have such flair, strength, panache, desire all over the field. But I think I'm going to say that Maida is beyond everyone at the moment, because he is just... I know Kuhn is exceptional. I know Engels is doing his thing. But Maida just typifies everything great about Celtic right now.
Fair shout. I have to say as well, I think, Mark, sorry, I also think, that's a very fair shout. I also think it's McGregor's game is after going tenfold, because now he has 2 guys, Bernardo and Engels, who can actually tackle, who can win a ball back. McGregor doesn't have to do that. We don't have to rely on him to do that. Whereas, as good as O'Reilly was in Atate, you wouldn't have put them down as 2 great tacklers. Whereas Bernardo, I didn't realise he was as physical as he actually is. And Engels has no problem using himself. They seem to win an awful lot of ball back and doing something that last year McGregor was expected to do, but isn't very good at doing, if that makes any sense. So I think it's freed up McGregor a little bit more, that Bernardo is now considered the guy who's going to break up the play and win the ball and, win those tackles. And Engels is a big unit. He can do that as well. And I think that is definitely taking a bit of that pressure off McGregor, which it's the only part of his game that he's poor at.
Yep.
Am I right in thinking that McGregor is playing a little bit differently, in that he's a lot more willing to receive the ball from the backs than he was in previous seasons? Because you look at I think it was the first goal where he took it from Scales, and he was just beyond the 18-yard box, and he just seems to be playing in that area a lot more. I mean, would you agree with that?
I think you get better options, Greg. I think he's still taking the same position, but I think maybe he's got better options in his out ball. But for me, I can't believe I'm saying it. I think Taylor's been our best player so far. As Taylor or Scales.
Yeah, they've been unbelievable.
The performances that Calmack's putting in, I know it's brilliant to say, but it's the performances we've kind of come to expect him. Last season he had overall he had a poor season. He stood up in the games that mattered domestically, but the performances that he's putting in this season so far are the ones that have always been made him be my first name in a team sheet if I was picking my team. Scales and Taylor have improved dramatically. It's brilliant to have Schmeichel in goals. The minute he gets it, he knows where he's putting the ball before he gets it. So he's keeping the ball moving really quick. It's not giving their forwards the opportunity to close him down or shut down his passes. Then you're going right through. Maida and Kyogo look different players to what they were last season, albeit Maida's always been a worker, but he's looking. I think Mark said it, I don't know if it was the end of last season or the start of this one, he's looking a lot happier, and he's definitely more clinical. So I agree with you there, Greg, with I've never felt this positive at the start of a season or after half a dozen games that I'm are now. I'm looking forward to this game on Tuesday night to see where we can go.
It gives a good benchmark as well, though, Jerry, to see the level that we are at, because like we've said, it's Scotland. You can only beat what's put in front of you. People are very quick to say at times, and I'm not saying anyone tonight, but people in general are very quick to say, it's Scotland, so and so, they're not very good. But if it's the shoes on the other foot and Celtic have a bad performance and they lose or they draw, it's Celtic are rubbish. So Celtic at times are in a no-win situation. But I do think on Tuesday night it'll be good level to see where Celtic have come in regards to the Europe. I'm not expecting Celtic to go over and win by any stretch of the imagination. It would be a dream if they could. But if they could get a performance and maybe even sneak a draw, I'd be delighted. But there are no illusions to who they're playing. Do you know what I mean? As you said, rightly said, Jerry, this is the Champions League finalists we're playing, and in the next game we're playing the UEFA Cup winner. So it's not it's not nobody's. It's two seriously good sides. So it will be a good benchmark for Celtic. But I hope there's a really good performance in there, and a really good sensible performance, and they go on a high with the football that they are playing at the minute. And see if they can put Dortmund under pressure.
See, yesterday I've seen us lose games like that. The way that St Johnstone started, I know maybe no lose, but drop points.
I really struggled to end up using a late on 1-0 win with them in that, because they parked the bus for the first minute.
That's exactly what I was going to say. They weren't able to come over their own half at one point, and after about 5-10 minutes, I was thinking this could be a struggle, as in struggle to break them down. Well, maybe we've plenty of the ball and maybe plenty of chances, but see, we're fast one-touch movement and the speedier play. It's no giving teams never gave St Johnstone a chance yesterday, and I dare say there'll be nobody in the league will be able to live up with us. We will have blips now and then, but by and large over the course of the season we'll be miles in front. But it just shows you yesterday. I mean, yesterday was fantastic. I want to keep going on it, but it was a fantastic all-round performance. Doesn't matter where we play the ball. Well, everybody seems to know their job. When they've got the ball, where they should be running, and when they've not got the ball, what they should be doing to get it back.
I mean,
it's some of the touches.
We've spoken about Greg Taylor and how he's ended up putting the right wing in all these different places he's put him up the park. But I mean, why was our left backs in the St Johnstone box so late in the game?
I'm just not giving teams a minute's rest, and that's the way it should be.
Aye, that's what I mean. That late in the game, it's not as if we're chasing a goal or anything like that. But for our left back to be even up there to set up Big Eda for that goal, it just shows you the kind of movement that Rodgers has got the team, like the movement through the team, the way Rodgers has got them playing. Because if you're marking these players, you're getting dragged out of the pitch with these players if you're marking them.
Exactly.
Must be huge belief there as well, Mark, in the team now. Even you man McGowan's ball in for was just a sensational pass. He's absolutely sensational pass, and that's the thing that at the minute as well, which is just it's sensational for Celtic in the sense that you can take 2 or 3 of the players out, 2 or 3 of the players go in. There's no drop in momentum. There's no drop in performance. There's no drop in. Everyone knows what they have to do. Like Greg Taylor comes out, the Barcelona lad goes in. He knows exactly what he has to do. McGowan comes in at a later stage in the game. He knows what he has to do. Whoever it was went in and out. They all the tempo, the style, everything stayed the same. And that has huge credit. Obviously, the players, huge credit on the manager and the management team. That everyone's singing off the same hymn sheet. And we said it. I've said it loads of times here. I said it to you, Mark. That's as good a performance as I've seen from any Celtic team yesterday. Any Celtic team. I thought it was just at times the passing, like the majority of the goals were one touch, finish.
Yep.
And as I said, if you saw that in the Premier League, in a Liverpool or Arsenal or City done that, it'd be all over Sky Sports notes. Like the goal, the header for Kyogo's goal, the pass, the layoff by Maeda, the cross by, I think it was Taylor, the fin, the header. It just, they were just unbelievable goals, unbelievable goals.
And I mean, they're the type of goals that if you can pull it off, you'll get the goals against any team. Do you get what I mean, Terence? You're talking about like that Kyogo goal. Moves is pulled off as kind of smoothly and that kind of accuracy and that could be the difference. A draw on Tuesday night or coming home being beat 2-1. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. But they have to be full of confidence going out there, as confident as they can be in a long time going into any away match in the Champions League, let alone any Champions League game. But they have to be full of confidence as a side.
I think Dortmund is going to tell us more about Celtic right now than we can ever imagine. I think this is the moment. This is when we'll see if everything that we've seen previous to it this season is actually what we believe it to be. Because if Celtic can go to Dortmund and put in a right good performance, then we can believe in some special things this season. And for me, it is the biggest game that Celtic have. And I'm really, really excited for it. And I'm feeling good about it as well.
Agreed. You're spot on there, Gregor. This will be the... Don't want to say the benchmark, but this will be the acid test to see how far we came and where we're at. But as I say, before these games, I'd be worried, but I'm not worried in the slightest. I'm looking forward to these. We could go out there and get beat by a couple of goals, but as long as we go out there, try our best, put in a right good performance, I'll be happy. But I read somebody in the chat saying I fancied a 2-2 draw, and then I seen a couple of people putting it in the chat. Somebody had said that it would feel like a loss. I mean, we must have made massive strides if you're going to over to Dortmund, taking a 2 each and feeling like a loss. I think it'd be a great result.
I just think we're due a massive European night. I mean, I think I've got a belief that it could be something like Ajax back in, the O'Neill days. I just think we are due a monumentous victory in Europe that we haven't had in many, many years. I know Bratislava was great. Everyone, again, I question how good they were. But I just have a feeling, just get a good feeling that this could be a historic night in Germany for Celtic.
I think we should all do the huddle in the chats. We've got a few lurkers in tonight.
Aye.
Let's go. Let's all do the huddle. Must be wanting a cuddle. What about
It's performance. Performance to me is going to be the biggest thing. I have to be honest. I know, obviously, of course, the result is the biggest thing. Maybe I'm contradicting myself, but if I get just to see Celtic put in a performance in Dortmund, and you can come away and kind of think to yourself, yeah, look, this team is, and the management have got the team to a level where they can compete against these better sides, and like that. You just don't want to see them go and obviously naturally get spanked. Ideally, I'd love to see a draw. Being realistic, because it is an exceptional side they're going to play against. But I just really will love and hope that they put in a performance more than anything.
I would need to try and get some credibility back after all the doings and the bad results we've had over the years. But it shows you how far we've came in a short time and what can be done if you invest properly. That we're looking to go to the European Cup finalists and hope to try and get something off them away from home. So it's positive for me, definitely. But regardless what will happen, we're not going to get outworked, and we're not going to disgrace ourselves.
Do you know what's interesting, Jerry? I was thinking back to Rodgers' first spell, and he had a similar type vibe with the team. We were playing great, and we went to Paris Saint-Germain, and we got absolutely hammered 7-0. And I think what's happened is Rodgers has learned so much from those European experiences that we're going to see a better performance, a more skilled performance. And I remember Rodgers in his first term always said, I'm never going to change my style of play.
Aye, that was a worry for me.
I think he's mellowed a bit, and I think you might see more flexibility in the way that he puts his team out and throughout the course of the game. And I think Rodgers, with his age and experience, is just becoming a bit more flexible, and that's why I've got more hope for midweek.
Definitely, that was my biggest bugbear before. It's he was too rigid. He'd done the other team knew how he was going to play, so it was easy to set up and counteract. Especially in Europe, and going toe to toe with some of these teams is just ludicrous. You need to try and stifle them and change your tactic, tweak your tactics, your personnel a wee bit. But as you've said, Gregor, I think maturity and experience, I think he's realised, look, it's not possible to go toe to toe with some of these teams.
I think
you maybe need to throw a wee curveball here and there.
I think what we're witnessing as well, I think this season and next season, we could be witnessing Brendan Rodgers peaking as a manager, because everything that he is doing is absolutely bang on. the way he deals with the press, the way he speaks, his subtle, the subtlety of how he messages, the way the team is playing, his purchases. I'm struggling to find fault in anything Rodgers is doing, and that's why I think, you know, this could be a pivotal season and next, and I think this is his peak. I think he's peaking right now.
I do think it's helped, and I know, Mark, you mentioned it a few times before. The fact that he's been in I think it was a semi-final in the Conference League or one of them ones with Leicester, that he's obviously, you know, with Leicester he would have had better players than at the time than would have been in the Celtic team, but he's obviously learned different ways of playing in Europe and going, well, I can't go gung-ho. I've tried it before and it's I've got egg on my face. So for him to get to the semi-final of the European competition, he's obviously learned along the way, like you're saying, that, okay, I need to be a bit more pragmatic if I'm playing away against Dortmund or Real Madrid or one of the bigger sides. I just can't go the normal way as if I'm playing against your St. Johnstone or St. Mirren. Because it's worked, like when he done it with Leicester to it, is obviously to an extent to the semi-final. So maybe he has got a bit more pragmatic and realised, you know, I have to be a little bit more clued in here.
That's how I always thought Bernardo would be the one that was starting rather than Hatate in that midfield, especially in Europe. He protects the ball a lot better, and all round I think suits Rodgers' style better as well. Sorry, Mark, what were you going to say?
All I was going to say was that, see, even if we do go out of Germany and do get beat, it's not the end of the world.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, it is.
I keep going on about this new format and stuff like that, but in this new format, going earlier, I said, I'm the same as all you. You used to kind of dread these games, but I'm looking forward to this game. I don't think we'll get beat. Really don't think we'll get beat. But again, if we do, it's not an end of the world. For us, it's not as if, that's us, we've only got 3 points and that's 2 games down and stuff like that. It's all changed days, do you know what I mean? But I mean, some change in the space of a year for the way Celtic fans feel getting into Champions League games against bigger, richer clubs. And the thing about it is with Dortmund, just one last thing about them, right? They came back for 2-0 down to win the other night, but they're obviously not their peak now. Do you know what I mean? They get beat last week, they get pumped last week. They struggled, they came back, but they struggled. And for what the highlights and I read about it and all that, it was just made like the opposition kind of get tired and let them back into the game the other night. But I mean, this isn't a peak Dortmund team. They're definitely not playing as well, and they've not got. Well, we spoke about that player they lost, didn't we? That full Krug guy who went to West Ham, wasn't it? Yep. Guys like that. But if they're just maybe in a wee bit of a shaky nail, then it's a good time to get them. They're no fire, no cylinders. Do you know what I mean? So it is definitely a good time to get them. I'd rather get them now than have to play them in the last game away or something like that to hope for a point.
Aye, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Fair point.
What you got to say, Greg? Greg? Oh, he's chopped it. No, I couldn't agree with you, Mark. But as I say, we all know Dortmund's a right good side. So I said test on Tuesday, but I'm hopeful. And previously we'd all been saying we were watching these games from behind the couch.
I was just going to say, in a month.
You must be walking about that house, Greg.
I heard you keep cutting on and off, Greg.
Stalled it up.
Aye, I couldn't agree more, mate. Aye, definitely.
Pay the Wi-Fi bill.
Aye. Aye. Who was your man of the match then yesterday, Ter?
It's a hard one. No, I have to be honest. Like I thought. This is going to sound a strange one now, slightly, but I thought you meant Trusty was unbelievably good yesterday. For a guy who had a really shaky game when he came in, and he's come in for Carter Vickers, and I know it's against St. Johnstone, but I was really impressed. I was really impressed with him. But I have to probably say, I'm going to say Kun. The guy's unbelievable.
Right.
The guy is so good. It's him or Maeda for me. those two, they just bring so much to the team now. It's unbelievable. Their work rate. I'm going to say Kun now, and in 30 seconds time I could tell you my area. I to be honest, Jerry, I couldn't pick one. But I'll say Kun if I'm putting a corner. I'm going to say Kun.
Yep.
But see, one thing I will say, St Johnstone didn't threaten as much yesterday defensively. But one thing for Big Trusted, see the speed.
Yeah, he's got some legs in him. He's a big unit, Mark.
Right, like early on, the St Johnstone player was breaking through and he was a mile ahead of him and he caught up with him to get the tackle in quite early on in the game. Really, man. I thought, but you're saying, Terence, he looked a lot more comfortable than he did last week. Last week, it was a bit of a bomb scare last week, in my opinion.
It put a lot more confidence in me going into Tuesday night. I know that even sounds stupid because you kind of go, okay, maybe it was just a one-off that game against Falkirk when he was a bit. He looked a lot more comfortable, a lot more settled. Maybe it was nerves the first day, I don't know, but he looked like a £6 million player in the sense that, you know what I mean, that you paid for. Whereas obviously against Falkirk, you're kind of thinking, oh man, what do we have to point here? But again, if we all remember that, we had the same impressions of Kuhn after about 2 games. We were like, I'm not saying he's going to be like him, but Kuhn after 2 games, we were all like, what is this guy? And he's just electric now.
Yep.
So, fingers crossed.
Totally agree. That's what I said. Everybody's improved from last season.
Apart from Palmer, by the looks of it.
I would just forget about him, mate. He should have been away there in the summer. And I think if we had got another winger in, he'd have been Offsky. So I think he's only in when about that squad because we never get somebody in. But there's always January.
You never even made the bench yesterday.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got an attitude problem, Mark. Obviously, like Yang is obviously you as limitations as Yang may be. You imagine with the lads from that neck of the woods, they seem to be very disciplined and very regimental, and you know what they might lack in quality, they make up for in work and effort. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, and that's the one thing maybe that Yang would certainly have over Palma. If I imagine if Roger says to him, "I need you to track back," he tracks back. Obviously, Palma's blotted his copybook and he's done something because these guys are watching him every day in training. And he's clearly not producing the goods if he can't even get on the bench. Rodgers has obviously gone and said, right, I've enough of this nonsense. Sit down there, out of the way, and that's it, you're done. Like Jerry said, he's probably surplus to requirements now.
That's a good point that Plunges said. Palmer's too slow for our style of play now. I agree with that.
I've said that all along. He's never a winger. He's definitely never a winger.
It's too many touches and indecisive when he gets the ball. And his kind of Yang works hard.
He does, yeah. He does. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Mark or Jerry. Like you could say whatever about skill set and ability per se, but Maeda, you would never question his work rate. Kyogo, again, he might miss a couple of chances, but you'd never question his work rate. Itadi the same. Their work rate is unreal. They never stop trying. They might not always have a good touch or a good pass, or they might miss opportunities, but they work so hard. I'd say it's probably a cultural thing more than anything. But whereas Palma just looks like at times he just kind of can't be arsed to track back there, which is no surprise from kind of some South Americans, to be honest. You know what I mean? They kind of give that air at times that the going forward, the fancy work I love doing, but the hard yards, it's not really my cup of tea. Like,
and that's one thing with Rodgers. He's always had hard workers in his team. And he'll have see if you was somebody for talk's sake like Yang, it's nowhere near the finished article, but he's a hard worker. You're prepared to give that guy time and work with him and opportunities, because if you've got that will to work and all the rest of it, then you can improve the player. But see if you've not got the attitude or the right determination or commitment, then you're just like, how can I count you when the chips are down? There's no point relying on you. I I think he'd be decent at number 10 and teams gone by, but the way that we're trying to play, he's not going to plunge. He's plunging a few, and I've got it spot on. He's not going to fit in to Rodgers' system, and there's no point in holding on to him to play the number 10 role because it's not going to happen here.
Well, if there's a player in Yang, Rodgers will bring it out him. But
think there is.
it's just saying that, but the players got to want it and they've got to work hard and do what Rodgers is wanting them to do. They're not going to get their chance to better themselves.
Yep.
I mean, we've spoke about it. You know what I mean? Did you say that yourself, Jerry? Now, how many players has Rodgers, where his 2 spells at Celtic, how many players has he improved? Look at the turnaround even when he came in, the turnaround in Scott Brown.
Of course.
Look at even Scott Sinclair's kind of career. Do you know what I mean? He was a bit of... He was kind of bouncing about down in England, not really doing much. He came up here and had the best years of his career up here.
Yep.
It's changing skills at him, the changing skills. I mean, people laughing that, but I'm telling you now, for me, Scales is a more reliable defender than Carter Vickers.
Oh, Mark Scales and Taylor, like, are the top defenders that Celtic have had this season so far by a considerable distance, and as I said, Scales has been. I'm going to be slightly biased, obviously, but he's been miles better than Carter Vickers. Miles better than Carter Vickers. Like he's been excellent. Like.
But only fear with Scales is sometimes it's not. I was going to say a bit naive. Sometimes he gets turned way too easy, and that's my fear. See when Taylor's dropping into that kind of either a centre, kind of mid or whatever, and he's out of position. Scales is sometimes a wee bit rash when he's over on that left hand side. Gets turned just a tad too easy. But in saying that, he's for me, he's been our best defender since the start of this season, definitely.
They're punching sees if he's been injured. Well, that actually tells you the kind of story. Much of last season did he miss injured as well.
Aye.
And a player, we could go and sign Messi the more. There's no point in going and signing him if he's sitting out injured. When was the last time Liam Scales was out injured?
What's that?
So who's more reliable?
Yeah.
Daniel Jordan.
Yeah, we did. And listen, Carter Vickers. Yes, Scales makes mistakes. I'm not saying he doesn't, but Carter Vickers is every bit as liable to make mistakes. I mean, the Falkirk goal, for argument's sake, the goal against Bratislava, it was a terrible header by Vickers. Then it was a terrible clearance by Taylor. Yes, you could say it's a fabulous finish by their defender or their forward, whatever it was. But the initial mistake has come from Carter Vickers, and then the clearance was the terrible clearance by Taylor. But I guarantee if you check comments, there was very few people saying about Carter Vickers' header. They were probably all slating Greg Taylor's clearance.
Yep. Yeah.
So he has a tendency. He's a tendency to get off scot-free. Carter Vickers. Look, I like the guy. He's a cracking defender, but he's not immune from making mistakes. But he seems to be at times immune from criticism.
Look what Kaiser's put. 5 out of 12 Champions League games.
Yep.
And if that's for kind of top defender, and I mean, it probably is. I see the thing with Carter Vickers. It's a bit like Greg Taylor. It's his height that's the main kind of concern for me. Do you know what I mean? But for the last year, I'd say that Scales has been our best centre back. Definitely this season, and I know Carter Vickers has been carrying an injury, but then again, should he be playing then?
Players are not always going to be 100%, but for me, we clicked last season when Carter Vickers came back into the team. We had different combinations of players and everything in defence. We clicked when Vickers came back into the team. He's the one that if I would always want Vickers on my team sheet because he brings that composure and all the rest of it. And I think we look a more solid team with him in it. But you're right there. Last season there was games in Europe as well where Vickers was at fault, but yet Taylor and Scales and a couple of them were getting the blame for some of his mistakes. But so far on performances, only this season, Scales has been the better of the two.
Yeah, look, look. I'm not going to try to sound here like we're lambasting Scale or CCV. We're not. But I love Vickers, and when he's on his day, he's a cracking defender. I'm just saying, like what you're saying there, Jerry. Scales has been excellent, and like Mark is saying, Carter Vickers he's become quite injury prone. So we also have to hope now that Trusty and Scales can form a good solid partnership, because if Carter Vickers is out so early in the season and struggling already, it's a long season. How long is he going to be out? He was out for a long period last season. Yes, he came back at a vital time and he solidified the defence. But like that, if he's going to be very, very injury prone again, are we going to be kind of going, oh, how long is he out for? How long is he in for? That's a big worry for me as well.
Yep. It's the injury concerns are the worry for me as well. But
yeah, it's a huge worry.
It's meant to be a. They're saying it's a toe injury, but previous it's been his calves. So we'll wait and see.
You don't put a moon boot. You don't have a full moon boot on, Jerry, for just a toe injury.
No, I wouldn't think so, mate. I wouldn't think so. But we'll find out how serious it is on Tuesday. As I said to you, Mark, Greg had said to us on Monday that he was told he was going to be out for about a month. And that was before anything, and then he wasn't playing at the weekend. So we'll find out on Tuesday what the setup is. If he's in the squad or not in the squad. Then
find out tomorrow at Rogers' press conference.
That's true. So we'll find out tomorrow to see if he's in the squad. If he's not in the squad, then I think it's going to be a bit telling. He's out.
Well, to be honest, Jerry, unless he's 100% fit, they have no business playing him. They have no business playing him unless he's 100% fit.
You're never ever. Your players aren't going to be 100% fit every game, every week.
I know, but you know what I mean. There's no point putting Carter Vickers on there if he can't play 90 minutes. No point. Because for me, you're only going to make the injury worse, and he's going to be out for longer. I'd rather Carter Vickers be out for the next 3 weeks and get it fully recovered, or as close to fully recovered as possible, and then come back. The last thing I want to see Celtic doing is rushing him back. The injury, he gets the injury worse, and all of a sudden someone says he's out for 8 weeks. Do you know? I mean, at the end of the day, if we lose against Dortmund on Tuesday, we're not out of the Champions League. We just lost a game. That's it. Why risk a key player?
Kaiser, that's a fantastic point. I see a big toe cost Mark Reaper his career. Reaper was, I love that big guy. What a player. What a player. Just unfortunate, but a toe injury, yeah. So we'll wait and see. But it's good that we've got strong players to come in and replace these people. I mean, the bench is the strongest it's been in decades. So before, if one of Hatate, your likes of your Vickers or that get injured, man, you're thinking, no, here we go. Future captain Stephen Welsh starting at sweep it at centre half. I know.
Behave.
It's good. It's a good problem to have. But again, it's that was one game yesterday. The game previous to Trusty didn't look fantastic, but he's not had much of a pre-season of any games. Yesterday he wasn't up against much, although he showed good recovery. So again, we'll see what he's like on Tuesday night.
We'll see what all the players are like on Tuesday night, Jerry.
Exactly,
it's going to be a big test for everyone. Everyone Tuesday night will see how one and all stand up as a team, and how players who've performing so well this season, how to perform at the biggest stage.
Yep.
Just said earlier, Jerry, it's a kind of acid test for us, isn't it?
It's that.
We've got after a fly. We've got after a flyer in the league. We're still in the League Cup. We had a great result against that Bratislava.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? So going in against the Champions League finalists and one of the like top teams in Europe, it is a litmus test, an acid test, how far we've came. But as we've said it, even Rodgers said it in interviews and that, last season in the Champions League, it was fine margins, do you know what I mean? We weren't miles away from getting something out of these games against bigger teams.
Yep. Aye, that's it. The first 3 games are the Champions League last season, Mark, me and you kept saying it was just fine margins and a bit of naivety. So we'll wait and see how far we've came in a year or so and take it for there.
Well, this is where every one of these players wants to be. This is where you want to be if you're a top player, if you're Engels or Kuhn or Kyogo or McGregor, all these Schmeichel. I know some of them have done it before, been there and done that. But this is where you want to be playing. You want to be playing against the best.
Yep,
and this is going to be a baptism of fire. Celtic going into Dortmund, Champions League finalists. We'll get a real idea, as was said there a while ago, what state this team is in. And for me, I keep going back to it. Of course, I would love a result, but a performance for me is huge.
Yep.
Just to stand up and be counted and put in a performance that we can all go, even if it's a 2-1 defeat, kind of go off and go, God, that was a cracker of a game. They really put it up to Dortmund.
Yep, definitely. 100%.
Jill Paul, but it's like a full length up to the knee moon boot he's wearing. That's what I know. That's what I wear. I can't get a shoe on my left leg, so I've got a full length moon boot that I need to wear when I'm going out. But if it was only something in your toe, surely we'd only use one of the wee ankle ones. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't need to go away halfway up his leg.
Yes, as Jeremy said, it could be the cast again.
Aye, but people are saying, Brendan said it's his toe and that, but I was just, because when you said that, when we've said that before, Jerry, we're not running about a moon boot on that size if it's just your foot that's injured, because you're not needing any support further up your leg.
No. We'll wait and see. Who knows? Again, it was Gregor that said it was his... Oh no, Gregor never said what it was. He just said he was going to be out for a month. So we'll wait and see.
But I'm with Terence. I'd rather... There's no point in putting Carter Vickers into the team if he's no 100%.
Carter Vickers won't start, Mark. Simple as. No chance.
Where the hell are you?
Eh?
Where are you? Gregor, you're not showing up in the studio or nothing.
I'm a ghost, Mark. I have this ability to just arrive when no one expects me. It's amazing. I'm like a technological guru, you know?
Where's he coming from?
I don't know. Terence, are you still there?
Oh, I'm still here, but I'm just wondering where he's going.
It's one of the when you've been to like university for 10 years studying computer science, you know how to infiltrate pods and stuff like that. It's incredible, Mark. The technological awareness and advancement that I have is off the charts. And not only that,
you're in Jerry's house, aren't you? Another bromance in the go here.
Just a fear. I was thinking on it. How long's this going to go on for, man? 10 years at university. Aye. Stoning in the toilets.
That's a good laugh, Mark.
So you don't think Carter Vickers will start, no?
No danger. No, I'm not saying. I've got a few sources, but I've been told that he's out for a month, and if he's out for a month, I think he'll be out for 6 weeks. I think when you look at the difficulty with metatarsal, which is what I think it is, that's a 6-week injury at the very least. Now I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. Before I get cut off because my phone's overheated, Mark, what I was going to say is the only concern I have about Dortmund is Trusty. I don't know enough about the guy. He looks okay. His movement looks okay. He looks quite fast. But it's a huge test for the boy. And he'll start with Scales in the middle.
I'd agree with that. It's a bit, I mean, it was, we didn't get threatened at all with him yesterday at all. And he played well as a kind of offensive defender when the Celtic's on in the game. And as I said, he showed a good burst of speed to get back to do that. But that was really all he done defensively all day. Do you know what I mean? As you said, it will be a big test for him. And I'll let us know how. Well, let us kind of give a better judgment of how good an actual defender he is. Do you know what I mean? It's easy enough we've played this 100 times. It's easy enough to be a Celtic defender when you're just stroking the ball about the park and that. It's when you're actually having to do the defending part. You find
how good would it be if he went on and he started and he had an absolute blinder though? Can you imagine that? That would just, oh my goodness, that'd be incredible.
Here's one for going about. What about the difference in our set pieces? Just overall, in general, it's just night and day, isn't it?
I was going to say that earlier on. The corners, there's a lot more variety of the corners now. For me,
McGregor goal, prime example.
Exactly.
I think as well, if you look at yesterday, towards the end of the game, Baye come over to take the corner late on in the match and actually stopped and he went back to default. So they've obviously got them so well drilled. Every corner, every set piece, everyone knows what they're doing and where they should be playing. Yeah.
As you said, the McGregor one's a prime example of it. Mm-hmm. When you see it, and as soon as he scores, I know obviously Rodgers turns like they normally do, celebrate the goal with everyone, but you could nearly see him turning it to Strachan and whoever it was to kind of go. That's obviously what we've done in the training ground for the last 17 weeks. It's clearly worked, and as I said, it's great to see. It's great to see a variety, and obviously it helps. Then you've got a guy like Engels that could probably put a ball in the twopence anyway. Do you know what I mean? He can put it wherever he wants to. He's got a serious foot on him, or Bernard or whoever it is. But like that, yeah, and it's great to see, and hopefully there's a lot more to come in regards to that, even with free kicks as well.
Do you know what I'm looking forward to against Dortmund? I think it's going to be a big display in relation to how good Schmeichel is, because let's be honest, right? Schmeichel, with the exception of a cinematic save against Hearts, Schmeichel hasn't really been pressurised. He hasn't really been put under, in a game where there's been a concerted amount of time where he's pressure. And I think we're going to see a lot from Schmeichel through the week. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't
Fair point.
But Jerry,
I'm hoping he doesn't need to touch the ball. That we've got up there half the whole game.
I don't think that'll happen.
No, I know, but we'll wait and see. It's good that none of us we've all got the positivity, and we've even got the lurkers coming on to wish as well for Tuesday. It's fantastic.
Is there anybody in the live chat that's kind of dreading Tuesday night?
Somebody put on it's a free hit or a free roll for Tuesday. I can see where they're coming from, but again, see, even if we get beat, I'll still be disappointed. Even though it's the level of opposition we're playing, it's Champions League finalists. Still be gutted if we get beat.
I think the performance of Jerry, if we sorry, go on, whoever that was.
No, I was going to say was I'm a bit like that as well, but I know what you're going to say, Terence. See, like we've just said there, like last season it was like fine margins in that. See if it'd be losing, it's that type of game. We've not embarrassed ourselves for putting a good performance and just one person's mistake or whatever you want to call it's cost us. I'll be happy enough with that. Do you know what I mean? But it's we've all agreed it's a big test. It's the biggest test for a team. It's even down to they've kind of walked the walk and talked the talk all season because of how good they've been. But this is a big test to prove that they can do it at a different level.
Yep.
Well, it's players of a different level as well, Mark. As I said before, many a time before, The players are playing with Dortmund for a reason. The players are playing with Celtic for a reason. You know, like players are playing with Real Madrid for a reason. These players, the Dortmund players, are perceived and probably are better players than the Celtic players. That's probably, you know, for me, like you're right. What I was going to say, yeah, if Celtic lose, of course I'd be disappointed. But if they put in a cracking performance and like that, maybe it's a 2-1 loss or something like that, you'd be like gutted. But at least you'd be kind of going, yeah, look, geez. For me, it'll give me a lot more confidence going forward. Whereas if Celtic went out tomorrow or Tuesday night and got a hide, and I'd be like, oh man, maybe is it going to be the same now against at Atlanta and all the teams away, the top sides? You would go back to fearing again. Whereas if Celtic do put in a performance and they're unlucky and come away with a 2-1 defeat or something like that, it still fill me with a lot of confidence going forward, if that makes any sense.
Aye. You'd be confident in the games but when we look at the draw and the teams have to come up against, you'd be
Especially
confident to get. You'd be confident in getting the points we need to get through.
Yeah, exactly. That would be my side. Well, of course, obviously, I want Celtic to get a result, without question. But I'm just saying, if they don't, performance is huge, massive for me.
I've got to agree with that. The performance is the kind of probably the most important thing than the result.
Could be the benchmark.
Aye.
You know,
the Europe will be on us as well, because they were all going on, they were all bigging us up for our result the other week against Bratislava. So all these kind of neutrals that they'll all be like, oh, how did they do against Dortmund then? Do you know what I mean? So it's good for the profile of the club as well, figure there and do well.
It's a difficult space to be in, right? Because we finished last season strong. We've brought in some real quality. We've had an amazing pre-season where we've tanked Man City and, you know, swept aside Chelsea. We've had a start to the season that is historic. So it makes sense that we are confident. Are we maybe slightly collectively overconfident? Possibly we could be. And I think, you know, come the end of the match will just tell us so much about everything. Tell us about Schmeichel. It'll tell us about our strength at the back. It will tell us about our potential in Europe. So we're in a bit of a grey area at the moment, whereby we're looking at all the success that we've had and we're hoping that we're going to have more. If you were to ask me, what do I think will happen? I think we're going to perform really well, and I'm going to make a statement that we'll win 2-1.
Oof.
I was just going to ask the question. That question: is anyone that confident that they'd win? I understand where you're coming from with how confident we are at the minute, but I was confident of Celtic putting in a performance. I won't lie, I'm not confident of Celtic getting a win, but I was confident in them putting in a performance and hopefully getting a draw. That would be my biggest. I hope we go with Germany and they win 2-1. But my biggest one is I'd be confident, I feel, for Celtic to at least put in a really, really good performance and hopefully come away with a draw.
I'd agree with that. I agree that we will perform well, and I hope that we perform well. But just as a fan, historically, having watched Celtic for so many years, sometimes you just get a feeling we are due a massive European night. We are as a fan base, as a team, as a club, we're due a big one in Europe, and I think Tuesday is going to be that night.
Oh, I've got to laugh at Henke. 2-1, Baldy and Tabley to score.
Here, tell him I seen that he won the super scoreboard yesterday, first half teaser. Well done, Henke Moravchik. I was pumping my fist for you in the kitchen when I was listening to Super Scoreboard, so well done.
Did he?
He did. He won the the first half teaser. Well done, Henke Moravchik.
It wasn't him, was it?
It was. I can't remember what the question was. It was quite a hard question. Big Henke, straight in there, bang, bang. Hugh Keevan's doing his nut because Henke
Googled it quickest.
Aye.
I kept that quiet, Henke.
I know, he's a Hugh Keevans fan. Listens to that old dimwit. Well done, Henke. So we have got somebody intelligent that listens to you, Mark.
I was cheering for you in my kitchen, Henke. I was like that. I know him. for the pods. I was actually singing one Hank Maravchik.
What did you win, Greg?
I think he won a holiday to Florida.
Aye.
A sing ball or something. A sing ball.
Spill the beans here, Henky. What did you win?
Aye.
Was this is it on Twitter or something you do it?
No, it said Super Scoreboard. You know they do the coverage on a Saturday in the first half. They have a first half teaser. So Hugh Keevans was setting the teaser. And then Gordon Duncan was reading out the folk that had phoned in and got it right, or on Twitter or wherever it was, and he said, and getting it right is Henk Maravchik. And I was like, I know him. Well done, Henk.
10K, aye, so you do.
I blew up, doll.
Bobby, me and Henky away for a dirty weekend now.
Greg's got a camper van. He can use a run to it.
That's it. I like his borrow it.
Aye. But aye, it's we'll wait and see how we got on, mate. Wait and see how we got on. Who do you start up front for that?
Ida.
Who you going with, Marco?
Yeah. I'm going for Kyogo.
Kyogo. What yourself, Claire?
I think it has to be Kyogo as well.
I'd go with Kyogo, but I could see why people would go for Ida in a game like that, looking for somebody to hold the ball up. But Kyogo's movement's been brilliant this start of the season.
I just think the way the team plays, it obviously, if they're going to play the same style of play, it may not obviously be the same system, but the same style. Then you have to
one or two chances. I'd be back now that scored before Kyogo. That's the thing.
What I would say is, I think Ida is a better impact sub than Kyogo, if that makes any sense.
That's a fair point, Terence. But I think we've not had enough time to actually judge Ida on starting. It hasn't started enough games for us to form an opinion to let us know whether or not he is the first choice. And the reason I think he'll start against Dortmund, traditionally German teams have huge centre backs, and I think they need that physicality up front. If you got Maida and Kuhn either side of Ida, I'd be a bit more confident of us having a real solid impact. Although Kyogo, I wouldn't be disappointed if he started, because I think the wee man is absolutely exceptional. I just think for this game we need strength, we need a bit of dig up front, and I think Ida will give us that.
It's a fair point.
I just think with Kyogo's movement, do you know what I mean? I think that's more kind of Rodgers will be looking at trying Kyogo's movement to pull the Dortmund defence about and let other people get chances.
Aye, I think so too, mate. I think that's what Rodgers will be going for as well. He'll be going for the fast play and the movement up front.
I don't know if
either way, it's a good complaint.
I don't know if he's spoke about it, but the more interesting area for me is who starts in the middle.
Oh, the middle is the three that started yesterday. Hands down.
Oh, yep. Definitely.
Bernardo. That's Bernardo's jersey now. It's always going to be McGregor and Engels, and it's between Hatate and Bernardo. But at the minute, that position is signed, sealed, and delivered that it's Bernardo's. It's Hatate's now to try win back. But there's I don't
know if it's as solid as that, Terence. I agree with you. Bernardo is maybe ahead of him. I don't think it's as solid as we all maybe perceive it to be. And I'm beginning to think he might have actually rested Hatate yesterday to unleash him against Dortmund. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I just don't think it's as simple as Bernardo being the first choice now.
I just think he's much more physical. I just think he's much more physical and a better ball winner than Tata. I think he can pass the ball. He works every bit as hard. He's got a good peg in him. He scores goals. For me, Celtic are going to probably be in this game have a lot less possession than they're used to. So Hatate is excellent with the ball at his feet. Sometimes he tries the one-touch pass a bit too much, and especially in Europe, you can get caught out. I know Jerry had mentioned this before. Whereas I feel that Celtic will have to be a little bit more solid in the middle in particular. And that's where I think Bernardo is a little bit better at that than Hatate, especially the tackling side of things. So that would be why I would go with Bernardo.
Yep, I'm the same.
I just even think Bernardo showed up better at the start across the start of the season.
He was unlucky to be dropped after Rangers, Mark. After the Rangers game, he was excellent. He was unlucky not to keep his place after that game.
Aye.
So right now, at this moment in time, who is the better player, Hatate or Bernardo?
Bernardo.
I'd say Bernardo as well.
I'm stuck on that one. I really am.
Hatate again. I mean, Hatate, he misses a lot of time out with injuries. He's never really done great running the team to see what he can do. I mean, he's good games and then he's poor games. Bernardo, but I can't even. I mean, Bernardo, when he was here last season, his chances were few and far between. But can you remember Bernardo having a bad game last season?
No, but what I do remember, Mark, was when it came to the critical 8 games to go, Hatate and CCV come back, and that's when we won the league. And I think I think Bernardo's limelight at the moment is just maybe clouding our judgment on Hatate. I still think I'm stuck in the two of them. I wouldn't be disappointed if he started Hatate over Bernardo. I'd be confident that and I think there's just something more mature about Hatate's game than there is about Bernardo's.
Nah, not for me. Hatate, in this type of game, you're going to need to hold on to the ball. Hatate's great at taking the ball forward, but he loses the ball. He doesn't work as hard as Bernardo, and some of his passing is great, but there's times that he tries to thread the needle when he can play a simpler pass and retain the ball. So I think in a game like this, it's going to suit Bernardo, and he's a unit now. He's obviously been working hard over the summer. So for me in this game, it's Bernardo, Engels, and McGregor.
I think it's a good complaint to have that we're arguing.
Definitely.
You know,
I'm going to say that. A good.
You know the most in amongst it all yesterday, and I imagine you've already said it, but one of the most positive things for me, and it has been all season, I've seen him. I think Luke McCowan looks outstanding. I think
he looks a fabulous player.
Doesn't he? He just looks like a player that is a Rodgers type player. He looks like he's a sponge in terms of what he'll learn from Rodgers. I really like his attitude. I like his vibe. I like his aura. And I'm really looking forward to hopefully McCowan getting more opportunities.
Did you want him signed, Greg?
Aye.
Did you? I wasn't sure if you didn't want him signed. I know he's only been fleeting from what we've seen him. He's not started really, but it'd be nice to see him continue and prove a lot of the doubters wrong.
Probably be like the Paul Hartleys and Barry Robsons of old.
Of course, mate. Of course, we need boys like that know what it's all about and around the squad.
But the pass alone for the third goal, you know, it was just exquisite. Like again, if it's someone else doing that pass in another league, it's probably all over the television. It was just a sublime pass by McGowan. You know, it really.
Who starts at left back there?
Taylor.
Taylor, definitely.
100%.
The team that started yesterday to me is the team that starts Tuesday.
Yep, I'll go with that.
If it isn't broke, don't fix it.
That's true.
Just too say to say do some shout outs there. I've missed hundreds of folk coming in there and getting pulled up for it. Even 420, nice to see you. Who else have I missed there? Just looking up the line.
McMillan, he's
in.
McMillan,
nice to see you. I said Kaiser was in at the start.
Cameron Shannon.
Oh, Cameron, nice to see you, Cameron. That's flip-flop for the forum.
Aye. Plunge.
I said to Plunge. Anybody else? Oh, nice to see you, Patrick. Thanks for coming in again, brother. Anybody I've missed there? Sorry about that. It was just caught away in a wee world of my own doing something.
Aye. Under the table.
Get away, you dirty mind, it's sodgy.
Come on, baby finger.
But aye, how do you think the left back? How do you pronounce his name?
Valley, eh?
Valle.
Valle.
Spanish. I spent, I don't know, a couple of years in Spain and Barcelona, Mark. So depends whether or not he's from Catalan or whether or not he's from Spain. And he's from Catalan, so that means that the V is pronounced with a B and the two L's are pronounced with a yes, so it's Valle.
You talk some powder.
You're absolutely, that's bullshit. I thought I was going to be like, I thought
Here,
that
wait a minute. I swear.
The mountains of Barcelona, and they came up.
You listen to how Rogers pronounces his name, and it's Valle. Well, Catalan is a...
You spent
Catalan
2 years. You spent
Catalan
2 years where?
In Barcelona.
In fairness, no, Mark, he did say he spent 10 years in college, so he's had to learn something in there.
If you spent in
university.
If you spent in Barcelona, would you not call it Barcelona?
Barcelona University was it? Aye.
No, it's genuinely, Mark.
What were you, Johnny?
It's the true Catalan way to pronounce his name is the V is pronounced with a B, and the two L's are pronounced with a yes, so it's Valle.
I do actually believe him on that.
I'm terrible at pronouncing. You know what I'm like. I'm not.
Just call him Val. Big Val.
What's his first name? Alex, isn't it? Call him Al. Just call him Al. Al Val.
No, it's Danny. It's Danny Valle.
Barcelona lad will do me.
Just call him Al.
I'm confused here. Right, Big Val. How do you think he's shown up in the fleeting moment, the minutes that we've seen?
One word, back pass. His back heel. That was sublime yesterday. The way that he just moved into position, took the ball from McCowan, left foot, dump on Ida. That was a thing of beauty.
I wonder, what do you think, Marco?
Well, it showed up a lot better than he did last week against Falkirk again. Do you know what I mean? And as I said earlier on, for that late in the game, for our left back to be up in that position, even do the back heel, just shows you, again, the kind of football that Rodgers has got us playing. Yep. But I thought he showed up a lot better yesterday than he did last week. Again, we've not seen that much of him, but still, I'm not going to even harp on about it. What's the point? He's only got to be here for a year anyway. It's just a case of...
Yeah, that's it.
It's just, for me, he's just going to be back up for Taylor. All this talk that he was going to come in and, Taylor will boot the team and this guy will play in the Champions League and that. I can't see that happening now. There's no way, unless Taylor's injured, there's no way.
That's the only way he's coming in.
Aye, there's no way he's starting on Tuesday night.
Taylor all day long.
Yep, agreed. That's it. We know our team. We know what we're going to do. We're going to go out and pump them now.
See, one of the worries for me is, right, we're, as Celtic fans, we're so immersed in our own team. I've got to be totally honest. I know nothing about Dortmund. I know absolutely hee-haw about them, and it's embarrassing how little I know. But yeah, I still have this confidence that we're going to do well. You know, so I don't know what you know about Dortmund. I know nothing.
Bring on if you need to know about that. Bring on Michael.
They're German. They're German. They're a German team.
Bring on Michael and he'll tell you everything.
Kuhn's German.
It's Kuhn German and all. Aye.
And it's not actually Kuhn, it's Kuhn.
Oh, Jesus.
It is Kuhn now. That'll be good for Kuhn as well. Back player against a German side.
Look, what we do know, lads, is, let's be fair, what we do know is it's Dortmund. They're always a good side. They're always thereabouts winning the league in Germany. They're in last year's Champions League final.
Yep.
That says enough.
Do you think Kuhn's going to beat O'Reilly's records for last season?
Oh yeah, he looks like a serious player. Like, I mean, he must be a nightmare to play against. He must be a nightmare to play against. Like, he looks very direct. he goes either inside, he can go outside. He's got a good touch. He's got a good eye. Just good cross of the ball. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be a serious player this year for Celtic.
Their Kaiser just saying they spent £72 million in the summer, so they're a team in transition.
I've got Dortmund's opening league games here to give you an idea of how they've played. So they started the season, they beat Eintracht Frankfurt 2-0, 0-0 with Werder Bremen. They won 4-2 against Heidenheim. I think they played Club Brugge, and they get beat by Stuttgart 5-1. And beat Bochum 4-2. So there's quite a lot of goals in there, both conceded and scored. So it could be a high scoring game, just judging on some of the recent performances.
Yeah, they're vulnerable at the back, so that'll suit us right down to the ground. And we've been solid at the back so far. So we'll wait and see.
How do you think Scales will perform?
He'll get in there with a bit of confidence, but who knows? He would have had a torrid time against that big boy at West Ham. He's a cracking big player, but well, I don't know. We'll wait and see.
But I also think in that regards for the defence centre halves and stuff, I think the midfield have a huge role in this as well, because the midfield also have to ensure that they're adding another line of protection. They can't be gone missing either. So I fully agree that the defence centre halves in particular have to have a really strong game, but defensively the midfielders have to have a really strong game, and not leave the defence, whether that's the full backs or the centre backs, leave them overly exposed. So it'd be interesting what way. That's why I also think that Bernard is going to start tomorrow for Tuesday for that specific reason, because I think he could sit there a lot more and add a little bit more solidness to the defence with the way he tackles, and he's a bit more aggressive in the ball.
Good night, Brian, mate. Nice to join us again. Thanks a lot, bud. Take care.
Ter.
Yes.
We are going to be
the rally late for the 70th minute.
Aye. With the way we play fast attacking football, if we do lose it up their end, we're going to be a wee bit exposed. But as I say, it's the acid test, and these are the games we're wanting to be involved in. So we'll just wait and see how we get on. I say it's no his first European adventure. He's played last season. He's played against Real Madrid and the rest. So we'll wait and see how he gets on.
Listen, the whole defence is going to be tested.
Definitely, 100%.
Taylor's, Scales, Trusty, AJ,
Schmeichel.
They're all going to be tested as a team. They're going to be tested. If Celtic work with the mantra that they've worked so far, whoever they're playing is, like against Bratislava, they defended from the front. Kyogo defended. When they lost the ball, they chased and they harried and they chased. Like Maeda, like Kun. If they do that as much as they can and put pressure on the opposition when they have the ball, that's going to be their best form of defence. But they're going to be tested. This is a top German side and a top European side. Celtic will have to be at the top of their powers here on Tuesday night to come away with any kind of a result. And I mean even a draw. Are they capable of it? 100% the way they're playing. Their confidence is obviously through the roof. The management team's confidence is through the roof. But it cannot be underestimated how good a side they're going to be playing, regardless if Dortmund are in a bit of a blip at the minute. It's still Dortmund.
That San Francel, he's got a wee point. We don't seem burst after an hour anymore. I don't know if that's because we're blowing teams away of that, but I think we look a lot fitter as well. But it's always easier to come on a game when we're hammering teams and we've got them pinned back and we've burst them. But we'll find out tomorrow just how good we are, or Tuesday rather, how good we are.
When do we fly out? I tell you what, the reason I'm asking, I was driving out to Loch Lomond this morning, and I was taking the back road by Lennoxtown, and Calmac passed me in his Porsche. Around about, what time would that have been? That would have been about 9 o'clock this morning. So it just goes to show they're in at 9, and I'm wondering, just in terms of their preparation, when they leave, how much time they've got in Germany to prepare, you know?
They're probably going tomorrow morning, or tonight, or this evening.
I think I read it was the night they were flying it.
Aye.
Because
They'll train tomorrow.
Did Rodgers not mention it when he was talking about why we didn't get the game moved to Friday?
Aye.
I mean, that's another. Did you see when you think about that? I mean, what was that? That was a ridiculous situation yesterday for Celtic to be in.
Yep.
Well, there Bobby saying it was Brendan saying Monday. Aye, that kick-off when you're playing a Champions League game the Tuesday night.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah, but it's Scotland all out though.
Aye, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's Scotland.
I mean, it's just what on the games that was that because it was games that were picked for that Premier Sports channel or whatever it is. I mean, that's basically the reason it was. It wasn't even. You can't even blame Sky for doing this. It was this other diddy mob that were tied in with now.
I know you'll find that contractually there's some sort of written agreement that Premier Sports can drive the times of whenever. That's how much they require the money, the SFA. That's how much they are at the absolute beck and call of these organisations, that they'll just bow down and say, yeah, decide whenever you want, whatever you want, and we'll agree to it.
Aye.
Yeah, they don't want to show the full allocation of games that they're meant to.
Ah, well, that's Sky, isn't it?
No, Premier Sports, I think, were guilty as well. Were they involved last season, Premier Sports?
It's funny, actually.
You're Via play last season.
Aye,
they were, yeah.
Aye.
Right, Via play.
But it's funny what you're saying there. I know this is slightly off the mark, but funny what you're saying there in regards to the way the SFA or SPLF, whatever they call themselves, are doing all this nonsense, like contractual stuff for the money. They're mad for the money. They don't seem to be interfering with the clubs when they've got half the ground empty, and have no problem giving and saying, no, we're cutting your allocation to 1,500. But half the stadium is empty while it's live on television.
You see, I'm of the opinion, Stearns, that's a good point, right? Here's what I think. I think a lot of people say, oh, there's institutional bias and there's, preferential treatment. I don't believe that to be true. What I believe there is at the top of the SFA is a serious ineptitude in all areas. I think it's just run by folk who are unable to fully commercially drive forward Scottish football. And I think there's not enough focus put on that. I just don't think, as business people, their acumen is high enough to really drive forward the change. So when when an organisation like Premier Sports comes into show, or if it was previously Viaplay, they just don't have the collective business skill to deal with moments like this.
But I don't understand. I don't understand either. That's a very fair point. I don't understand how the powers to be in Scotland haven't gone to the powers to be in all the clubs and gone, sorry, I know you begged us for money during COVID. We had to bail you all out.
Do you know why, parents? Do you know why? They don't like each other. The owners of the clubs, just like human beings, they're all challenged with their personal relationships with each other, and that's why nothing happens, because there's no, person at the top driving change. The way that Barry Hearn done with the darts, or whoever, I think it was Barry Hearn. But
yeah, it was, yeah. But for me,
there's a massive Blazers just all nodding at each other, going, right, okay, Premier Sports are in, let's just agree that we'll take whatever, But
for me, going forward, if any team in the Premier League, or thereabouts, particularly in Premier League, got into financial difficulty, I don't think they should be helped by anyone. Because quite frankly, my first argument would be turning around going, you're quite happy to have a stadium that's half empty every single week, rather than giving Celtic or Rangers or this or whatever it is.
Yeah.
When they go, that stuff, just for the financial person of those grounds, they have to be an idiot.
Yeah,
There has to be a complete idiot.
But what you got to remember, and I know I've just lambasted many of them, but in their defence as well, many of these guys at board level are pandering to the fans, because I've spoken to some folk at St Mirren, and that's one of the big issues they have, their season tickets. I think I've spoken about this in previous pods, that they can't give up their allocation and move them because it just causes too much a rumpus with the fans. So we can blame the clubs for these decisions, which show St Johnstone last night looking like a morgue. But in most cases, they're driven by the fans.
And that's a very fair point. But for argument's sake, if you look at a Hibs game, Celtic against Hibs, half the stand is Celtic and the other half is covered over with the canvas thing.
Yep.
I mean, what's that about? Like, do you know, I have no defence if any of those clubs get in financial difficulty. I really don't. Because, yes, I hear what you're saying about the fans, but look at, as much as I hated playing the pitch, Livingston were probably the only team that had some cop on that would go, right, you can have the three sides, we'll have here. But I don't understand how the powers to be in Scotland having gone, look, lads, we don't have the money to back you if this goes pear-shaped. You need to, it's 2 games, it's 4 games a season, whatever it is. 2 games against Celtic, 2 games against Rangers.
Terence, that goes back to commercial ineptitude on a club's board's part, that they're unwilling to stand up to the fans and say, no, for our commercial interests, it needs to be like this, because they don't want to upset the fans. So
just tell the fans, look, you can't moan that we're not making signings. You can't moan about the board no spending money.
That's what strong leaders would do. That's what, do you know what I mean? That's what strong leaders would do, but there's not enough of them.
It's 4 games a season. Good night, William. Thanks for coming in, mate. Good night, brother. It's 4 games a season, and it's worth. I don't know what it's worth. Say it's worth £2 million to them, right? It's 4 games a season. It's worth £2 million to us. Just move your seats for these 4 games. We'll give you free pies. We'll give you a free programme. We'll give you a. Do you know what I mean? You can meet players. You can meet players after the game and get autographs and pictures took with them. Just if he's moved for these 4 games, just get some incentive. And just say, and then we can invest in the stadium. We can buy and maybe afford another 2 players come January. Stuff like that.
I'm not being funny, but no, it's not like it's going to be a couple of thousand people. Like, it's not like it's going to be a couple of thousand people you're talking about moving in these grounds. I don't mean to be rude, but it's not like you're probably talking 50 people, maybe. You know what I mean? It mightn't be even more than that, like less than that. I don't know. But like, they're obviously the season tickets are spread out around the whole stadium. But like, I just find all that we've had this discussion loads since Ben, but it just absolutely baffles me. It really does.
What other sport? What other entertainment kind of medium, whatever you want to call it, cuts off selling tickets? Kind of refuses to sell. Do you know what I mean? Refuses to sell tickets.
Hey, listen,
it's the whole point. Yeah, is to put bums in seats and get fans involved in the game and stuff like that. It's absolutely crazy. Just because again, what Gregor just said there, a lot it's just personal bickering. Do you know what I mean? If they don't like this guy, so that if they say black, we'll say white. Do you know what I mean? Like Celtic and Rangers. Whereas, see, if you went and get the difference is, see, down in England, I mean, the clubs have still got their rivalries, and there's guys probably that don't like each other for business dealings, blah, blah. Yeah. But see the difference of that. The guys at the top level of these clubs are interested.
They're businessmen.
Aye. They're merely interested in maximising the money. They want to make money for their club so they can buy all these multi-million-pound players and stuff like that. But they can put all these personal differences aside for the better of the game and to get more money in the door.
You can guarantee the Liverpool Man United, for argument's sake, big derbies or big rivalries, I should say, not derby. But if there's the Liverpool fans are at United or United fans are at Liverpool, if like when they're playing Bournemouth, for argument's sake, there's not as much away fans. Like, there's obviously stipulations. If you're a Liverpool fan and you're in the section where Man United are normally housed in Anfield, come the United game, you'll move somewhere else. Like, you know, and it's not a case of, well, no, I know you don't want to move. We're sorry, we'll have to reduce the allocation. No, you're moving. This is on your season ticket. You're going to be elsewhere for this game, but you're going to be in the grounds. I find it absolutely bamboozling in Scottish football that they can allow all this to go on. I really do.
That's why we need to find a pathway out of Scottish football as soon as. I'll make a prediction. I get cut off because my phone overheated earlier. We'll be out of Scottish football within 10 years.
Oh no.
Within 10 years. I'm telling you, mark my words.
I'll tell you what, we'll be out of Scottish football when I have a full head of hair.
No, I'm telling you, we will be out. Mark my words, we'll be gone within 10 years. It will go that fast. The progress will be immediate, and it will happen. We can't continue.
Where are we going?
Continue in this league. It's ridiculous.
But where, like? Is it a European thing or something? Because there's no way Celtic are going to Premier League.
No, we're not going to. There will be the drivers are in place at the moment for a new setup of European football. It will come with the developments with technology and AI and all the rest of it. We're going to see massive changes to football, and there will be, if not a European league, which will come first, there will be a world league as well. But we are headed out, and we've got to, as fans, if we don't say we need to get out of here, then we're just watching the same old turgid stuff. I don't want to see, much as it's wonderful and brilliant and exceptional football, I can't bear watching Celtic hammer St Johnstone every season 6-0. We need to evolve, and we need to get out of this league.
But that's been going on for the last 20 years, and there's little to zero, no progress.
The Super League, I agree with him, that will happen.
It's going to happen, Mark.
I think it'll run in conjunction with the domestic leagues.
Well, I don't know how it will run, but I just know that Celtic and Rangers as clubs are way too big. I mean, think about it rationally.
Hold on, to be that Greg. I've spoken about this for years, right? How can you see if a Super League was announced tomorrow, right? How in the name of God would Rangers qualify to take any part in that? Where they've not got the financial you can't get into these kinds of Super Leagues with tick. Do you know what I mean? You can't just say, all right, Rangers, come in, and then the end of next year we'll give you £200 million. Do you know what I mean? Celtic's a well-run financial club.
No, I get
There's got to be criteria, and if Rangers don't meet that criteria, they can't just get into a Super League for this kind of quote unquote old firm shite. That'd be unacceptable.
Mark, it will happen. How it will happen, I can't fully articulate that at the moment, but it's got to happen. Because my dad's been saying it since I was a wee boy. My dad, God bless him, is gone. He used to talk about a British league when I sat in the old orange seats in the main stand. And I'm convinced we cannot accept that Celtic can play in this league for the next 10 years. Yesterday was embarrassing.
Rangers were saying that in the 90s.
Yep.
But that's 30 odd years ago. Rangers were saying that they were too big for Scottish football and they needed to get out in European leagues and super floating pitches and casinos and that. I mean,
just can't see it happening.
No, but my take on what I think will happen. This is something I spoke to kind of some high up people like about it over the years and stuff like that. Is that the Champions League will just grow. It'll just be basically what we've got, what we've got to do. I mean, how is that no a kind of champion? How is that no a European Super League to now? If Celtic get into the last 16, we've got European football in March. That's only 2 months before the end of the season for us.
That's as close as Celtic will get in regards to Super League.
Aye. But no. I mean, that's for me. The next thing it'll be a Super League. There will be some kind of promotion relegation system because it's the closed shop thing. That's what they're all against.
Will you imagine three European Super Leagues, League A, League B, and League C, made up of the top 20, the mid 20, and the third 20, and both Celtic and Rangers would be within that 60, and that's where we're headed. And we've got to look to that dream as well, because if we think as fans our end game is going to Perth on a Saturday night to hammer St Johnstone 6-0, that's not for me.
Well, can I ask you a question on that? And I'm not being smart here. What's the criteria for that? The 20 to 20 to 20? Because I'm just saying, for argument's sake, you could have Spurs in England going, we're a bigger club than Rangers, we're a bigger club than Celtic, we've more financial clout than them.
Right.
Or
So I would say
I'm
the
just using it as an
criteria,
example now.
Terence, I think the criteria is your fan base globally, and both Celtic and Rangers would get into that fan base.
That's
easy.
a myth. That's a myth.
No, I disagree, Mark.
Go back and read what Hugh Adams said. The Rangers director. Go back and read what Hugh Adams said years ago. The Rangers fan, the worldwide fan base of Rangers is a myth.
Whether or not it's a myth.
They done a survey and they asked people to nominate people about the world, and 90% of them didn't have a clue what they were being nominated for and stuff like that. A Rangers director came out and said that Rangers is a West of Scotland and Northern Ireland club. Honestly, go back and read that. They're no way. Rangers, see if Rangers do get into something that you're talking about, Greg. They're arse end of that. They'd been the bottom division. They'd been Division 3.
It is the teams that would collectively generate the most money for whoever is governing this European Super League. But for me, you know, much as I enjoy seeing Celtic hammer St Johnstone and waxing lyrical about the performance, I want to look beyond that, because for me, you know, to see the club grow, we've got to get a Scottish football. We've got to.
The leagues are bread and butter. It's been that way since the year dot.
Yeah, but when that bread and butter, when the next level bread and butter generates you billions, which is what is going to come, then that'll be a lot more bread and a lot more butter.
But what would happen if, hypothetically, this league did form and Celtic got relegated? Do they get relegated back into the SPL?
Well, I don't
know. Are they allowed back into the SPL?
The dynamics of it all, Terence, I mean, I can't say what that would be.
Yeah.
But it may well be that the 60 stay in place and the last one doesn't get relegated. Who knows? And then maybe the bottom two of the bottom league go up and down. I have no idea, but what I do know is that the money men at UEFA are licking the lips, and the corporate money men as well see the benefits. And it was all started 3 years ago with Juventus, Barcelona and Real Madrid. Peppering us with the start of it.
And UEFA fought against it, so I don't know. UEFA's not wanting that. They want to take on. They want to do what they're doing.
The UEFA are terrified of it happening.
It will happen. It's going to happen.
I don't know.
You're saying these teams are going to break away from UEFA?
100%. Well, if it is,
and see any player that goes to play for these teams, they can't go and play in the World Cup. They can't go and play in the European Championships.
It'll be one of two things. They'll create some sort of body that will work in conjunction with UEFA, because the financial ramifications of it will be too great. And I just think as fans, we need to start looking to this, because evolution comes within everything. It's got to come to football as well. Because if we're happy just playing Livingston away last season, I mean, come on. Dundee away.
But just for argument's sake, this is something that looks like it's going to materialise. Do you think that UEFA and the other countries, the other countries that are involved in this, running it and one thing or another, will consider Celtic and Rangers in the top 60?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Celtic will tick that box to Terence. They're one of the best run clubs in the world.
Aye, I'd agree, Marco.
And that's what I'm talking about. We've got the structure behind us. Do you know what I mean? To slip into that. I'm not saying. I mean, the way Greg's talking, see if it was like a 3-league system, we maybe not been the top league right away. We'll maybe only been the middle one when you take into the fact the amount of money we've got in the bank compared to the amount of money like your teams doing in England and Italy and Spain and places like that can put up right away. But to the same extent, if that kind of league came into place, our sponsorships would get through the roof. We'd be one of the top targets for blue chip sponsorship deals and stuff like that.
It's coming, believe me. It's coming.
I never want to see Celtic leaving Scottish football.
I do.
Right? And I can see.
I appreciate that.
I can see a mere kind of a full season league, a European Super League that runs in conjunction across the season. We maybe need to sacrifice the League Cups and stuff like that some
Yeah.
international games, or
They-
even
they-
cut down
they
the
put-
amount of league games and stuff
They-
like that. But
The,
just
the only reason I was saying that, Mark, was it wasn't to do with the size of Celtic Ground. It was that it was to do with the way Celtic are perceived, as in the league is perceived, the Scottish Cup, the Scottish League is perceived. That's why I was arguing, or not making the point about would they be in the top 60 in the way that the Scottish League is perceived by, because you're obviously going to have, and I agree with everything you said, but you're obviously going to have West Ham, Spurs, all the, you know, Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, West Ham,
you're not going to have
Villa.
West Ham jumping in front of us.
Oh,
Terms,
no,
I wouldn't say.
I'm not going to. I'm not.
They've never won a trophy.
No, I'm not. Well, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But what I'm trying to say is, their perception will be, because they're Premier League. That's all. I mean, I'm not saying that Celtic wouldn't be, but it's the way Scottish football is perceived by pretty much everyone. You look at Matt O'Reilly. Matt O'Reilly couldn't get near the day, hardly get on anywhere near the Danish team. He didn't even probably do a training session with Brighton, and as soon as he signed, he was in the Denmark squad. That's what I'm just trying to get across.
See, the thing is, the players are ready to. Some of them are talking about striking because the amount of games they're under just now. I can understand where Greg's coming from with this. There'll be a Super League. See, the only way I could see it happening is if they Saudis get involved, and you couldn't put anything past them, because the amount of money that they would plough into something like this, and the amount of money it would generate would be frightening. And that's the thing that worries UEFA. They're all in it for. I mean, the money and the sponsorship deals they get in is frightening. It's no millions or hundreds of millions. It's billions. They get in sponsorship money. So I just don't know how it would happen. And I think you're right, Mark. I don't think Celtic would ever leave Scottish football. I think it's something that we need to run parallel with it. Whether it's we cut down the league.
The two, even having two teams.
Yep.
A team for Scotland and a team for do you know what I mean? A team for the European League.
I just I don't know how it would work. I mean, are you allowed to play in both? Are you only allowed to play for one? And would you play your B team? I just don't know how it would all work.
I think, Jerry, to be fair, what Marcus said there a few minutes ago, though, the new vamped Champions League is probably not a million miles away from it, if that's what they're looking at. Because
it's a precursor because of the way they've got it set up. But UEFA trying to, they've done this to try and combat the Super League happening, because I think they're terrified that I mean, see the way that Sky went on about that, said it was a disgrace and blah blah blah. It was a disgrace because Sky weren't part of it.
Exactly. So they were worrying.
They were going to lose control of the league in their investment. They were frightened that the whole thing was going to go tits up. So they've obviously got to wheel out all these blooming paid PR people to say it was a joke and how the fans were up in arms against it. I don't believe the fans were as against it as we think.
Not at all. I totally agree with that. I would say that most fans throughout Europe, I mean, look how exciting it is when we get a slight change to the Champions League. We're all like, oh, this is amazing. New format. We think about it. It gains excitement. Imagine how you would feel if you were a Celtic fan and 1 week you're playing Bayern Munich away, and then the next week Real Madrid are coming to Celtic Park, and then you're away to Lyon, and then the next week you've got, Inter Milan coming. That's what I dream about as a Celtic fan. I don't want to see Livingston.
Where do you see Celtic winning trophies in that vision?
Listen, that's a dream, Mark. That's a dream, right? That's an absolute. But
Celtic, where would Celtic be in the big
club?
But where would they be? See this European Super League started even next season. See in 10 years' time, do you think you'd have seen Celtic win the league?
No chance.
What do you mean? Like some sort of European formatted Super League? Could Celtic have the potential to win it?
In the next 10 years.
Possibly. Well, why not? If we want to move into in the next 5 years, Celtic have the ability. Celtic in that format have got the ability to be one of the wealthiest clubs on this planet.
And how can you see Dermot Desmond going toe to toe with these oil sheiks and stuff like that?
Well, that's a different league if we look at the whole Saudi Arabian team involvement. I'm talking about a European Super League, and I don't think it's out with our.
No, but I'm talking about the PSGs, the Man Cities. Because, I mean, the Champions League now is just a bit of a dick-waving contest between all these sheikhs and that about who's got the best team. Let's not be kidding.
No, I get that, Mark. I get that. But
So they're ploughing billions into these teams that it's a
Super League won't be any different.
It's a drop in the water to them. They're not even noticing it.
It would allow us to enter into
never,
an area.
We're never reaching that level. We're never reaching that level.
I disagree. I really.
Unless
I
there's
don't think we could go into it immediately.
Unless there's strict financial fair play, like you can only spend what you make, which puts Celtic a hell of a lot in a better league than even your Man Cities. Let's not be kidding. Yeah. Unless that was strict, Celtic you'd struggle to see Celtic win the league ever in that kind of environment, in my opinion.
I don't know.
Even
when you go
we're getting pumped every week.
But the other side of it is, I know what someone was saying there. Yeah, it's fine. Celtic would get huge financial money out of it, and really they'd climb massively into the huge hundreds of millions or whatever it may be. But if Celtic are getting hundreds of millions, the Man Cities and the Real Madrids and that are getting even more. So it's still going to, in my opinion, if Celtic are able to now afford to go and this did happen, and Celtic can afford players for 30 or 40 million, Real Madrid are still going to wind up buying players for 200 million. I don't think there's going to be a huge difference in where it is now at all, to be honest.
Because a lot of it turns as well would be done to the TV market.
Yeah,
that's how the Germans and English would take a bigger cut, because they've got a bigger cut of the TV market. That would be so. Even if you were you could only spend what you make. That's where it would be. That's where the big gulf would be.
So the Premier League alone, Mark, it's a $1 billion deal. There's a couple. I think is it? I don't quote me. I could be wrong now. I thought it was something like 5 billion or something for the Premier League, for the TV stuff in the Premier League, or some crazy figure like that. Like, I mean, Scottish football is something like 20 million. Between the whole,
more of a reason for us to plan an exit.
Between the whole 44 teams, like, do you know what I mean? I mean, that's it's crazy, like.
And in the meantime, we have to go to St Johnstone on a Saturday.
You'll be doing that for the next 10 years, bud.
No way, no chance.
I agree.
Well, go to Kilmarnock, so.
So hopefully they get relegated. They need to get up their pitch up at the end of this season anyway, don't they?
Yeah, it's gone next season, yeah.
Aye, good.
So what you saying about a Super League, Jerry? What's the chat saying about it?
I see when I heard that the teams were breaking away, I was all for it. I was like, brilliant, good, because I was wanting the kind of Sky monopoly broken. And at one point, I thought now in BT were kind of looked as if they were going to make a challenge, and this I just couldn't see where Sky kept being able to afford to pump all this money into the football. And then you seen the kind of the Saudis kind of wanting in the action and all. I thought the makings of maybe Sky going tits up and breaking the stranglehold on it. But the new deal that they've set up, I don't know. Super League, as you said, Mark, I think it would be good, but it's Ter saying, well, Real Madrid are still going to be able to go out and sign a £200 million player. But I just think the sponsorship money that it would open up to Celtic would be obviously second to none. But again, it's how the money gets distributed from a Super League. Is it going to work on TV, or how do they work that out? Because if it is, then regardless of the Super League or no, we're snookered. But again, it's if we put all our eggs in the one basket and join this Super League, then what happens to the Scottish League? As much as I don't like or care for a lot of these teams in it, you wouldn't want to see that collapse completely. So do you leave a team in there for kids? Or I don't know. It's just there's a lot of variables. But I'm not like the bishop. I couldn't put all up to it.
I'm 100,000,000% against Celtic ever fully leaving Scottish football.
Yep.
Especially if they're down to that pub league. Me and Bobby were talking about that earlier on in the day. I said that to him. No, never in a million years would I want Celtic to get down and join that.
Oh, I would have went down there, Mark. I would have went down there, 100%. Because
they couldn't go down there, Charlie.
Pardon?
They couldn't go down there. Just
No, the simple fact is I'd like to go down there and after a few years win their league and say, right, thanks for that. We're away back up the road. He's a shite.
I think actually, Jerry, to be honest, not even from a footballing point of view, I just think there'd be so much unnecessary baggage. Can you imagine Celtic going to Chelsea, going to West Ham, going to Spurs?
Love it.
No, I'm not. Just, it's not the game I'd be worried about. It's
Oh no,
what's
that's what
happening
I'm
now.
talking about as well. I would love back in the younger days. That'd have been a dream. You imagine that, Mark, get tanked up in the old Vino down there.
You'd be all right doing it West Ham terms.
Oh, aye.
Okay, like obviously, I mean from a.
No, but even doing it, the one wee drunken incident would be blown up out of all proportions of social media in that terms. So just
Well, it would be the whole England against Ireland nonsense.
Videos of a song getting passed about and stuff like that. It's a bit. It would be a bit kind of political. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean, Mark, and it's not from the football side of it.
But Jerry,
gentlemen, I must love you and leave you.
You off tear?
I am. I must love you and leave you. I must go to bed and get ready for work.
Good man. Thanks again for coming on terms.
No worries, lads. Good night, boys. Bye.
Bye. I mean, back in the day, you're younger, going to these games, marking the bus and that would be fantastic. Get away down there for a trip, pumping them and coming back up the road. Don't be wrong, I think there'll be one or two wee problems, but football-wise, it would be brilliant. It'd have been brilliant.
See the thing about this as well, and I've moaned about this before, right? We're going about, look at this, sent away up to Aberdeen on a Tuesday night and that kind of thing.
Yep.
What if they go to play Tottenham on a Wednesday night with an 8 o'clock kickoff?
I know, I totally get it.
Be far more exciting than going to Almondvale, Mark.
No, but you can't moan about kick-off times and stuff like that when you know like Sky's kicking off games at 8 o'clock at night. You want to traipse all about Europe. How many Celtic fans could make an away game to Dortmund? See Dortmund on Tuesday night, and then next week we're away to Atletico Madrid, and then the week after that.
Right.
Do you know
so what are you going to be more excited about? The regularity of 4 top European teams coming to Celtic Park over the period of 2 months, or Dundee United, Livingston, Hibs, and Dundee? You know, I know it gets me going a lot more. For us to grow as a club, I just absolutely firmly believe we need to stand shoulder to shoulder with whoever is driving us towards some sort of European formatted league. Because yesterday
But we're in one.
I know, Mark, but it's.
I'm with you, Marco. I think I can't.
We're in one, and this is just this. I mean, this is only the first season. This is only the wee acorn of this new Champions League format. It's this that's going to grow. There's no reason to spit the dummy.
There is a not a strong chance, but there is a fair chance that next season we won't be in it.
Well, that's what
we're in the roller coaster right now because we are. You know, we're in it. It's all sexy and it's wonderful. It's a fair chance. It's 50-50 as to whether or not we would be in it next season, and then it's Europa League football and.
No, I think we'll be fine if we can. Let's say we fare this week. In the next few games,
meant to be next season. We're meant to be seeded. And only one qualifier to play. I don't know if that's right, but that's what I've been told. So I'm quite confident that we'll be in the Champions League next season.
I hope so. Hopefully.
Even if we don't, we could probably have a good run in that Europa League, which maybe days of power are good as well for a season.
Nah. We want to be in here. This is where the big teams are and the money is. You don't want to be in that Mickey Mouse Cup.
I want to be in this all the time. I want to be
that's us
every week.
But
that's us. But that's down to us then to make sure that we are in it every year.
Exactly. But let's see if we accumulate 10 to 12 points in this Or jump the gun, I know. But
We're going to have 6 by Wednesday.
if we get to say our target's 10 to 12 points in this European campaign, think of the coefficient points that will get us the credibility back and all the rest of it. It enhances our chances again next season of getting into the Champions League and getting more quality players in. So I think it's a win-win. The coefficient, we're not too far away, I don't think.
I don't. We're no miles away from it, but it's for a 5-year cycle, isn't it?
Aye,
I don't think we're 1 mile. But I mean, we only just dropped out it, so we can't be that far dropped out. Do you know what I mean? So
exactly.
even if we get a good few kind of points this season,
aye, and if the Rangers can maybe give us a wee helping hand with beating the likes of Malmo and whoever, it'd be fantastic of them. I know they like giving us a wee helping hand in Europe, so it's really good of them. So we'll wait and see, mate. But it's all about Tuesday now.
Right, Mark, come on, score prediction. What are you going for?
for Tuesday.
Aye.
I always say Celtic will win 4-0, but I don't think I'll be going for that. This game, I'm going for a Desmond. Same as some of the guys in the chat. I'm going for a Desmond 2-2.
Who's the scorers?
Kyogo and Kuhn.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
But what score are you going for?
2-1, Kyogo and Kuhn.
Well, I was going to go for 2-2, mate. But since you've said that, I'll go with 3-1 Celtic.
Fucking hell.
Yep, I'm going to beat them.
But you used to sitting there drop acid or something like that.
It's the mushrooms at the campsites,
The
man.
shrooms.
No, I was going
the
for
shrooms.
2-2. They're dodgy at the back. They can score. We've not really been tested at the back yet.
3-1.
So
Was that not the score in Ajax? What was the score when we went over to Ajax? Was it 2-0 or 3-1? Remember in 2001, was it? Remember the game I got? The game I got was on fire. Was that 2-0 or 3-1? It was 3-1. 3-1. 3-1 because Ajax won 1-0 at Celtic Park, and if they'd have won 2-0,
aye, that's right.
they'd have won
It was 3-1. Aye, you're right.
3-1.
Aye, I'll go with 3-1, man. I'm terrible with predictions. So nobody be putting a dime on that.
Is that you, Jerry?
We'll probably get hammered 4-0 now.
So you bet Celtic to win 3-1?
Aye, we'll go for it. I don't know.
Positive thinking, I like that.
Aye. Brian's
away. You don't need to soak in.
Brian away?
Aye, he's away.
Right,
you don't need to soak in.
We're going to get hammered 4-0. We're going to get pumped. We're going to get pumped. But listen, we could go there and take a spanking. It's not impossible. However, I think the way we're playing, the confidence, and how hard we work.
Look at G-Doc. 2-2. Skills getting off 4.
Aye.
That'd be amazing.
That wouldn't he? I'd wring his neck. So we'll wait and see how close any of us are. But hey, it's how good does it feel you're getting into a European game against a team like this, and none of us are shiting it, and we're all positive. So yeah. I just hope when the Bishop's on, hopefully on Thursday.
Are you doing it on Thursday?
Aye. Thursday, Mark.
Well, Wednesday if you want.
You should go for Wednesday, man.
Aye, Wednesday. Whatever.
Aye, right after the game.
Aye, that's fine. Go for Wednesday. I hope we're all still happy and positive, and the Bishop's is as insightful self as ever.
I mean, we're being realistic. Do you know what I mean? We are, but it's no. We're not just hoping like we normally do in the Champions League. I hope we turn up, hope we do this, hope we do that. The way we've started, I know they were only pre-season friendlies, but against Man City and Chelsea, the way we've started the season, Bratislava game and that, but it's just been a bit positive that it looks as if we're getting there. Do you know what I mean? It looks as if the team is making massive strides towards being able to compete at that kind of level.
Yep.
But I mean, as you say, we could get there. We could get there and get pumped 3 or 4-0. But I just can't see it. I just cannot see it the way, just because of the way the team's performing, the intensity and stuff like that. I can't see us taking a beating.
No, that's the way I'm looking at it and all. Maybe it's get the green tinted specs on, but we'll find out this time on Tuesday.
What time is kick-off?
8 o'clock.
Our time?
Aye.
This strange love there forever. Win it or lose, draw against Dortmund. Just want us to maintain a high standard of football and performance. Results can fluctuate, but performances are the best guide to where we're at. That's exactly it.
Yep, 100%. He's nailed it.
We spent about 2 hours trying to say that, strange love.
So I will wait and see then. What time you going for on Wednesday? 6:30?
Aye.
Yeah, that's sounding. Okay then, mate. I'll need to go and get my dogs out. I was sitting cross-legged now, 8:30 their time on the dot all the time.
What's that? Didn't realise it was late, is that?
Aye.
Time flies when you're having
fun.
I was just going to say that, I know.
Beat you to it, aye. It was a delay you're in.
Right, Jerry, Greg, thanks very much for coming on again, lads.
Thanks, Mark. Really.
Henk asking how your back is, Jerry.
Aye, it's great, mate. Gregor's making me touch my toes the now.
Is that he's getting you rubbed down, isn't he?
Aye, you better believe it, aye. I'm no fussy.
Right, thanks very much to you, right, lads?
Oh, see you later, guys. All the best. God bless.
Good night. God bless. Big thanks to Jerry and Greg here, Terence as well for coming on. Everybody in live chat. Hope you enjoyed it. We said there we'll be back on Wednesday night and see how much egg we've got in our face if we get pumped 7-0 or we come back with a wee bit of a smile. Remember, if you know how, leave a comment, hit the like button. Everybody that listens back on Spotify and stuff like that, thanks very much for that as well. Hail, lads. Good night and God bless.